Okay, here we go. Put our instructions up for today's build right here. Okay, that didn't work.
It's gotta be a better way for me to place these so they don't fall every time I'm building. I know, I'll use the ancient art of Japanese origami. Supposed to be a duck. I guess that's what you get for learning origami from a man inside of a coffee shop in Niagara Falls. There's gotta be a better way.
Oh, GB1, I'm having a really hard time with these instructions today. Well, they just keep falling down when I'm trying to build. It's super annoying. Not only can I not read them, but I have to edit out every time. Well, that's a good idea there, GB1. If I'm having this problem, I'm sure a lot of people out there are having this problem too. And this would be a great first project for us to do on our 3D printer. We could design our own stand from complete scratch, and that way, when we put these instructions into it, it would hold it perfectly. Good thinking, buddy. Hey everyone, and welcome to Groove Builders, the show where we create together. I'm your host, Disorderly Cone, and this is my friend GB1. In this episode, we're going to be designing our very first 3D printer project, a stand to hold our instructions. This will be very handy for future projects, as I've been struggling for a long time to have something to hold these in a nice way. Now, I have a couple of cool ideas that I think that might work, but we need to put those ideas down on paper, print them out, and see if they work. And if we like them, maybe I'll even offer these stands in the shop. Groovers, let's get down to the workbench and put some pen down on paper.
Groovers, welcome to the workbench. This is our idea book. Let's go ahead and open it up to our page here. Now, I am no artist, and I mean that. So when I started drawing here, bear with me on the pictures. This is more about coming up with an idea, and then we're going to build that idea in a 3D program and then hopefully print it out. And if everything goes well, we'll have something really cool in our hands from our imagination. Now, let's start with our first little bit here. Now, we all know that triangles are a fantastic way to build supports, but I don't think that's the way we're going to go with this particular build. Instead, what I think we want to do is build a screen that we can detach from a base. Now, when it comes to the base, I think the best way we can build a base is probably a long rectangle, just like this. And I think we need to have one slot that goes from one end to the other, and that's where we'll put our instructions. And then I want another slot back here, which is where we'll insert this big mesh thing here. Now, that screen could be made of triangles, like I said earlier, but I feel that maybe a honeycomb kind of shape might be better. Ooh, that was horrible. Let me try that again, because that was just bad. Let's see, boom, boom, and boom. Okay, yeah, so maybe a screen with this shape in it. We need the ability to be able to ship this, so it has to be small enough where we can ship it, but also big enough where it can effectively hold our instructions of all different kinds of sizes. So I think that something, I think our base here should be about maybe 170, we'll say 171 millimeters long. So the length of this right here, of our rectangle, and I'm thinking that the thickness of this whole thing needs to be about 60 millimeters. Let me bring out my little measuring tool here. This is my caliper tool, and this will kind of give me a better understanding of the sizes that I want to deal with. So, like I said before, I'm thinking about 171. Now, my caliper here only goes to 156. So, we'll mark this right now, and we'll see here. I'll mark right here. That's 156. And so we need to do about 12 here. There we go, from that dot, and 12 puts me right at here. So we know that the entire length, I'm going to do a really crappy line here and just make everyone shriek. But what I'm going to do is we got an idea that that's about the length. Look at that horrible line I just drew. Yeah, so that's the length that we're going to be dealing with. Now I said 60, so let's see here. The stand. So the stand is going to look something like that. I think that's big enough where if it's on a table, it's going to be steady, and we're not going to have to worry about wobbling too much. It all comes down to that screen, though, and if that screen can accurately fit with inside of its stand. Now, how tall does our screen need to be? That's a really good question. Okay, now I have here some Mass Effect instructions. These are really cool. This is the first series I actually completed. I didn't do this on YouTube, but it was a very good series, and I really enjoyed the models. They're retired now, and if I can get my hands on them, I'll try to maybe build them just for the fun of it. Now, the instructions here are what we're here for. Let's see if we can get some measurements here. Now we're going to go like this. Boom. Okay, so I'm going to say 145 there. And I'm going to say that's 150. Yeah, I'm going to say 50. Okay. So 50. So the 156, 50. That's a very easy math for the majority of us. It's 206 millimeters. Okay, so that's a pretty long piece of paper. I think that we can get away with about 150 millimeters. So if we take our line here, and we know this goes to 156, 150. Okay, that's 150, those two dots. And when I line this up like this, that should be more than sufficient to be able to support the page. So I think 150 millimeters for that screen will be fine, and I think that with a thickness of about, well, you know, let's take a look at this real quickly. I mean, it's a piece of paper, so it's pretty thin. I'm going to go ahead and say that we want this to be about 3 millimeters thick, okay? So 3 millimeters, just so everyone's clear on what that is. 3 millimeters is about these two dots. So 1, 2, here's a little line to illustrate that. Wow, that's a really thick line. But that should be good enough where it will provide good support for the instructions. Okay, let's go ahead and see if we can build this in our Tinkercad program and then throw it over to our 3D printer. Groovers, welcome to Tinkercad. Now I've gone ahead and built the stand to the dimensions that we mentioned in our book, and I've also done our screen here as well. And I think our screen looks very, very good and strong too. The question is, though, will these two things go together? The only way to find that out is to go to our slicer program, which I'm using Cure here, and begin our printing. Now, here's our stand. It looks really good. It's going to take about 5 hours and 24 minutes for it to print. I've gone through all the layers here, and we can see about halfway through the supports in the center and those holes where our stand mesh is going to go and where our instructions here are going to go as well. Everything looks pretty good. Okay, let's get this over to our printer.
Okay, and there we go. We have our first sample here of our stand. And I really like how this turned out with its little pattern and how strong it really is. It's impressive. And our stand here looks pretty good too. Let's see how they fit together. Okay, it's a little wobbly as we can see, and I like how that kind of rests on an angle. Let's put some instructions in it and see how that looks. Okay, not bad. I mean, it does hold the instructions. And again, I like how the little angle is almost set up here. There's definitely some improvements we can make. We can make this a little bit thicker so we don't have much of this little movement that we have. We can also add that little angle to both the front and back slots. This will help everything kind of hopefully fit together a little better and will hold the instructions better as well too. Let's increase this guy here to 3 millimeters thick. And let's keep everything else here on the same for the plate. well, let's get back to the drawing board and get to the printer. Whew. And right off the 3D printer, we got our second grate. And I like this color white better, especially with the two of them. It looks more, well, kind of groove builder-ish. Now, looking at this one here, I can already see some issues. It looks like it's actually a lot thicker than I wanted. I know it's 3mm, but still, it's really kind of thick. And our plate is the same one from last time. The only issue with the plate, besides of course we want that little bit of an angle, is I want to finish this off a little bit better. So I think on the next print what I'm going to do is use an ironing on the top. I'm going to try to use it and see how that looks and go from there. Now let's see if this fits together here with 3mm. Okay, it doesn't actually fit. It's like trying to put a square inside of a star when you were a kid. Doesn't really go. Okay, so we need to make this a little bit thinner. Let's try 2.5mm and see how that works. Woo! And there we go! Fresh off the 3D printer, we have both our screen and our stand. Now the first thing we see when we look at our stand is a really kind of weird ironing pattern. That's because we use that centric ironing. And I gotta say, I really don't recommend it. It left some squarage over here and here, and it's just not very pretty. So maybe we'll try that zigzag ironing next. Now, I guess the most important part is to see if the 2.5mm screen here will fit in the stand. Let's see if that works. Okay, so as we did that little tiny angle, we can see now that this fits a lot better, and there's a lot less wiggle than the first one. But I like everything to fit together really well. Let's see if it falls out. Oh, there we go. It doesn't actually fall out. Whoop, whoop. Okay, maybe we need to work on it a little bit more. Let's try 2.57mm and see if the screen fits even better. Back to the drawing board and the 3D printer. Oh, look at that! This looks awesome. We have both our screen and our stand. And that zigzag ironing really did a nice job. Although there are some small artifacts on here, but that just might be because of my ender. I'm gonna have to look into a little bit more of that. Now, for the all-important part, will this fit together well? Let's find out. Let's see here. Oh, wow. That fits together really well. There's no wobble, and woo! Just like a blizzard, you can tip it upside down and it won't fall out. That's amazing. Now I guess we need to see if the instructions fit well too. Let's try putting those in. My girlfriend doesn't find me funny at all. Just for the record, she doesn't find me funny at all. I would appreciate if you put in the comments down below, if you do find me funny, to say, this guy's hilarious and your girlfriend's wrong. Thank you. Now, let's see if these instructions can go in here. Don't actually do that. I'll put me in the doghouse. I'm already in it though, don't worry. There's food and water. Sometimes a bed. There we go! And look at that! The instructions are nice and placed. I really like this. This is a really awesome stand, and it should do a really good job of holding our instructions regardless of the project that we're really doing. Now, the question becomes, with some of this taller instructions, will it be able to handle those? And I think it should. Let's expand this out a little bit and see if it can hold the whole paper without it kind of folding over. Haha! Just like that, Groove Builders, we got an entire page resting, and it's super easy for us to read. I mean, this is exactly what this stand was designed to do, and it does it. I really enjoy designing this stand with you guys today. And if you guys enjoy designing this stand, don't forget to press the like button. Want to get your hands on one of these? Well, check out groovebuilders.ca. We're going to retail them for about $9.99 plus taxes and shipping and handling. And they're going to be perfect for anyone out there who wants to have a little bit more of a stable solutions for holding their instructions. Alright Groovers, I had a really good time building with you guys today, and if you guys had a good time, don't forget to press that like button. For more videos like this, hit subscribe as well, as we got all kinds of really cool content coming out in the future. Want to help the channel grow? Check out that groovebuilders.ca. We got all kinds of really cool builds on there at great prices with fast shipping to the United States and Canada. Alright, now that we got our stand, it's time to move on to a bigger build. I think Vader's in our mix. Until next time, Groovers, keep building.